Welcome everyone, it's Shari Carroll for SimonsStamp.com with an art journal piece that I've created titled Peace on Earth. I'll be working in my Dina Wakley journal with its 6x6 pages of watercolor cardstock. I'll be using the Tim Holtz Festive Collage stamps and a sheet from Tim Holtz Backdrops, and this is the Christmas Noel. These are really fun sheets to work with. They're super thick and there's so many designs to choose from. The sheets are 6 by 10, so I have just cut my sheet down to 6 by 6 to accommodate for the size of my art journal. I'll be stamping onto a piece of torn tissue paper, and this is just regular gift wrap, and I've torn this a little bit larger than the stamp I'll be using. To ink this up, I'll be using the Black Soot Archival ink since it's really nice and permanent, and I'll ink the stamp up really well and then stamp it onto the tissue paper. What's really fun about using the tissue paper is that it has the image on the back side as well. So if you're going to do an additional image, be sure to clean off your MISTI platform before moving forward. I've stamped a couple of the other images as well. So next I'll be adding a little bit of white gesso to the paper, and I'll be placing it down randomly. If I were to try to stamp on top of the gesso and the paper, I would get an uneven look because the gesso will soak up some of the ink. So this is why I've used the tissue paper, and I'll have a nice crisp image to put on top. While my gesso is drying, I'm going to gently tear around my image from the tissue paper, and I'm leaving just a small white border. I'm pulling away and using my thumb to hold on top of the image, and then I can just pinch and pull the rest away. To glue my tissue paper pieces down, I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium, and I'll be using a brush to apply this. I'll just add a good amount to the area where I want to lay down that tissue paper, and I'll just spread this around. And then I can lay my tissue paper right on top and position it to where I want it. And once I have that positioned, I'll go back in and add a little bit more of the collage medium on top. When you're doing this, you'll start to see those white edges of the tissue paper disappear as it blends into the gesso and the paper. Next, I want to add some wording to my background, and I'm using the Tim Holtz stencils, and this is the Element Stencils for Christmas, and I've chosen Peace. To hold this down on my page, I'm using the Simons Stamp very low tack tape. If I need to reposition, I can, since the low tack property of this tape won't tear my paper. Rather than stenciling a color, I'm using the Tim Holtz Distress Grit Paste in Snowfall and spreading this into the stencil to capture the entire word. For a little extra shine, I'm also sprinkling on some Rock Candy Distress Glitter and tapping off the excess. This will have a really nice muted tone of white with sparkle. To continue the Christmas theme, I'll be using some elements from the Tim Holtz Christmas Botanicals and Christmas Noel Ephemera packs. I've played around with the pieces and have chosen a design that I like, and to start gluing these on, I'll be using the Simons Stamp Craft Tacky Glue to adhere these in place. As a tip that I can offer, I do like to dry fit all of my pieces before I glue them down, and a lot of times I will take a picture with my phone so that I have a reference of where I want to place things. Next, I'll be using a few pieces from the Tim Holtz baseboards, and this is also Christmas Noel, and there's some really great words and stars that I'll be adding to this page. I want to add some glitter to my stars, so for that I'll be using the collage medium once again, and also a palette knife, and I'll just add a little bit of medium to my glass mat. And with the brayer, I can smooth this out and roll it over my stars. Once I have those coated, I can set them right into the jar of Distress Rock Candy Glitter and cover the entire piece. To finish off my messaging, I'm adding Peace on Earth right to the center of those poinsettias, and I also have a finger to the left that's pointing at this message. I really like how festive this is, and you can see the piece at the top with that stenciling and also the shine of the Distress Rock Candy Glitter. I want to trim off any of the overhanging pieces on the left side of the journal before I adhere it in place. I'm using the Simons Stamp Terrific Tape to add some adhesive to the back of the panel. This is really great tape and it holds really well, especially if you have any bends or ripples to your panel. I'm removing the backing to the inside pieces of my terrific tape before I set this down in place. And once I'm happy, I can press this down. And now I can reach under and grab the backing to the outside edges and pull that away and press each of those edges down. And to finish this off, I've glued my sugary stars in place. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on my Peace on Earth art journal page for the holidays. I have all my supplies listed in the description box below, along with a link to our blog post for more information. And as always, thanks so much for watching.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.